What is up, Squared Nation? Welcome back to the Four Corners, the official podcast of No Counters, No Combos. I'm here with my co-host, Matt Manning from the Sensu Bros YouTube channel. Just real quick before we really dive into it, last week there wasn't any upload for the podcast because I had caught a pretty serious stomach bug and I was just out of commission. So, instead of trying to force myself through it and vomiting on camera or while I was talking, I decided nobody really needs to see that. So we're back at it this week. Matt, what you been up to the past 2 weeks, bro?
I have been grinding testing because with a lot of newer blue support, not necessarily in set 16 and set 17, just thinking about what blue options we have, I decided to finally give the blue UI chain a test in Krillin, not realizing for the first week and a half of testing that Calamity Challenger Goku says you need a blue Saiyan
Saying.
leader. So that was a week and a half down the toilet, but the second I plugged the deck into Soul Striker, it became way, way, way better. That leader does way too much. It's ridiculous. But I've been testing that lately and just working out kinks sideboard-wise in Vegeta. What have you been up to?
Not too much. I went to. So I guess the last time I went to locals was probably 2 weekends ago. I played SS4 Xeno again. I ran it back because I made a couple of tweaks. Like the first time in 2 weeks I played the same deck, in a row or whatever. But I think he's got some promise. I actually surprisingly went out to a tournament in Jersey Thursday night because I had an early morning meeting Friday for work, and it was in southern Jersey. So from where I live in PA, it would have been like a 3-hour drive. So I just decided to crash at my parents' house on Thursday night, and actually one of my buddies, they have locals there at a shop that we used to go to in Clifton. So I figured, hey, why not? So I went there. I actually took Videl. Just a small tournament, it's like 8 of us, but I ended up going 2-1 with Videl. My only loss was to the new U7 Goku deck that's coming out in set 16 because this store allowed proxies. So everybody was proxying set 16 stuff. And that was my only loss. And it was a grind. I made a couple of misplays and I got greedy trying to kill the Piccolo Unison. If I would have geared my aggression towards leader, I might have been able to squeeze it out. I was able to deal with the secret rare because, cards like Dormant and, Broly Unison exist. So I was able to deal with him quite handedly. And Videl just draws a lot of cards with combos. So I think, I've always liked that deck. That's pretty much it, though. Question of the day. So everybody who's listening, obviously Matt, of course you too, you guys can leave your answers in the comment section below. For pre-release events, do you prefer playing traditional sealed or do you prefer to play constructed? So let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. But we can expand a little bit on this. Matt, when it comes to pre-release event, you go, you pay your $20-$30, whatever it is, you get your 6 packs. You get your promo leader, you get your promo unison, and then you have to build a 40-card deck with the 6 packs that you've been given. Do you prefer that style of tournament for pre-release, or do you prefer the constructed aspect of it?
I despise sealed. I hate sealed so much, and I'll tell you what. So all right. For as long as I can remember, pre-release has always been the one night that I almost consider not paying entry.
Mm-hmm.
And it is there's just something as someone who tests religiously whatever I plan on playing, whether it be the next set, whether it be with support from the next set,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be with any sort of testing, I always grind it out before I decide to play something.
Right.
So when I get my night at locals, I wanna show up and I'm gonna play what I've been playing. And I'm gonna demonstrate how much I've been testing. So for me to go in, even if it's just a new set, and have to scrounge together a 5-color, as fun as it is for that first round, it ends up being 4 or 5 rounds of a slog of playing a 5-color deck that has no business working. Like, oh man, like imagine if the only leader card you pulled was Beerus.
Well,
You play with 4 life with a 15k leader that can do nothing. For me, sealed has just always been a nightmare.
yeah.
Draft is a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
Like a different kind of sealed format. Like I loved like drafting out of the old draft boxes, but like War Martial Arts is so much fun
Yeah.
because everyone's on the same field. But like if someone's pulls are like, someone pulls 90% red cards and they
Mhm.
get the red Goku leader, they're going to win pre-release. And for me, like that's just less fun. I would rather play with like, new stuff legal because I think that's a great way to like test out stuff. I think that's a fun way to definitely enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's no right or wrong answer. I think it's more just opinion driven. For our shop at Gamer's Edge, they decided to go the constructed route for this pre-release. Because a lot of people share the same sentiment as you do. They just don't have fun, playing a sealed event. So they went back to constructed. I didn't make it out for pre-release this time around. But the stipulation was if in the 6 packs that you purchased, if there was any cards that you needed to add to your deck from those 6 packs, you were allowed to add them. So it was you brought your constructed deck, but then if you wanted to make changes with the 6 packs, you were able to do so. Me personally, I mean, I like to switch it up every now and then. Constructed for me, like I'm very I don't like I don't I have a really tough time unless I'm going to like a really competitive event. I have a really tough time playing the same thing over and over and over and over. I like to switch it up. I like to change it. So for me, I don't mind sealed because it's a little bit of a challenge. And what I like most about sealed is that obviously you're playing with the cards that are in the set. So everything's on the same power level, unless you pull like an SCR or like a broken SR or something like that. Everything is pretty much on an even level. But what I like most about sealed is you get to play with cards out of necessity that you normally probably wouldn't play like on a daily basis. So like, the quote unquote bad cards of the set, you get to experiment with them early, and then you get to really form a solid opinion about those cards, whether they are good or whether they aren't good. The last pre-release I went to was I think I want to say set 13. Was it which was what, Supreme Rivalry?
13, yeah.
Yeah.
Supreme Rivalry, which was the one after Good, yeah.
Yeah, and the one card in that set that I really enjoyed the most in pre-release was, or maybe it wasn't set 13. I'm pretty sure it was set 13. That was a set that we got Red Jiren. We got Red Jiren in set 13, right? Or was it set?
Red was King Vegeta, and I think Jiren was Cross Spirits.
So 14 then. So it was 14.
14? Yeah, 14.
So set 14, yeah. So set 14. Set 14 was the last pre-release I attended. And in that pre-release, I ended up piloting Videl as my leader. But I had a card in there. It was, I think his name is Tupper. He's one of the Universe 11 guys. He was a 3-drop for red, but he was like barrier, dual attack, and when he hits the board, you neg 2 cards 20k. Like that card was disgusting. And you know what? Like that's one of those things that you overlook because primarily the Jiren archetype was just like a whole bunch of Jiren cards. So that's one of those cards that you overlooked, but that was like the MVP of the night for me. So I don't mind it. I like switching it up here and there. I would love it if there were more dedicated formats like that, like sealed or draft or like a commander format, for Dragon Ball. Like, I think the card pool is big enough where you could start doing different things like that. But I think it's all on the players. Like, if your player base really wants to change things up and spice things up a little bit, I think it's fair to have those types of conversations. But, I digress. Let me know in the comments what you guys prefer when it comes to pre-release, if it's sealed or constructed. So, our first major topic of conversation for today, since we weren't here last week, I pulled a screenshot from one of Bandai's posts a couple of weeks ago. on the official page about the new organized play system, the Bandai TCG Plus that they're going to have. So I was just kind of skimming through it, just to kind of understand the bare bones of it. But I obviously know that you read better and you read more than I do. So I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on it. And maybe we could dive a little bit deeper into what this means for the Dragon Ball Super card game.
I think this is awesome. It seems like surface level, it's a streamlined way of correcting issues that they had with Cardass,
Okay.
with BCC.
Right.
I think this is great because I mean they're gonna have more card games. We have to accept that Digimon is a thing. This is probably also going to be used for them,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a way for shops and stores to streamline a tournament system.
Right.
And that's all. I don't think we're gonna get an online client. I think people that think this is like a foreshadowing for it's not gonna happen. It's a bummer. It's not gonna happen. At least not this year. They're focused on way too many other things. Especially with that new block with the Z leaders and all that good stuff. I'm so excited to
Yeah.
talk about that.
We'll talk about that.
But I think this is just like a really streamlined way of doing it. I didn't read too much into it. It's not something that directly affects me. But I think for bigger shops, I think like the Gamer's Edge, I think is gonna really like. I think Dan is gonna really like this. I think
Yeah.
this is gonna help streamline things a
Yeah.
lot. The shops like PPG, Core, those big huge shops that having these like 25, 30, 40 man locals or tournaments even are gonna really profit off of this. And I'm sure people are like, oh, I gotta download a new app. Yeah, it's gonna help long run. I think that's great. I think it's a great tool.
Yeah. So we used to have the Cardass app, and I remember it being popular up until like set 6 or set 7, and then it just died out. But I like the organization part of it. I like the fact that the Bandai IDs are actually going to be used for something now, more like strategically. It's a good way for Konami to record, attendance, consistency, turnout, stuff like that. And like you said, it's going to help shops keep records of what's going on so they could get allocated more products. That's what it comes down to, right? Like that's what's going to come down to. Like tournament kits are allocated based off attendance. So if you're reporting, if you're reporting consistent locals every week, 16, 20 man locals every week, you're going to get more product. If you're reporting an 8-man local like once a month, you're probably not going to get as much product as you want because it's just not there. So it's a good way to kind of it's good, and also it could be not good at the same time because it's going to prioritize the shops that are more consistent, and it's going to hurt the shops that are either not as consistent or just starting to try and build up. But if you're in it for the long run, you'll get there at some point. Like a scene is not just gonna, it's not just gonna sprout up out of the ground. You have to build it with consistency, and I think that's fair. Consistency is key when it comes to stuff like this. So I think that's probably the best thing in my opinion about it is the organization thing and the tracking of it. Like you said, obviously Gamer's Edge is going to benefit a lot from this, hopefully. And then hopefully it it means that we're, clearer days are ahead as far as distribution is concerned. So that was one of the main things I wanted to talk about. Also, since we missed last week, we could talk about these new Championship 2022 cards.
We were going to talk about these because there is some interesting, I think, signs.
Yeah, so we'll leave 17 for the last one because he's probably the biggest mouthful that we're gonna have to spill out. The one I like the most is this Nail Namekian Guardian.
Yep.
1-drop blocker auto for 2 yellow. If your leader card is yellow, when this card is KO'd, you can play up to 1 Piccolo fused with Nail from your deck, then shuffle your deck. If you played a card, place up to 3 Namekian cards under it from your drop area. I believe the Piccolo that you're getting is a 4-drop that came out in what is it called? Clash of Fates, yeah. So it's gonna allow you to get that. It's a 1-drop blocker. He's cute. I like it for future Gohan because it's a 1-drop blocker that can do something else if you need it to, which is nice. I think this card is really fair because it gets you only one guy. Like there's like it doesn't get you a Piccolo. It specifically gets you Piccolo fused with Nail, and then you have to put 3 Namekians from your drop area underneath it. So this is definitely for like, what was it Clash of Fates was Purunga, right?
Yeah.
That was the Purunga leader. So this is for
No,
like
this
probably.
was for it was for Purunga, and it was Trader Dende
Oh yeah,
was the
traded
deck.
them. Yeah. So like your burst wish decks would probably benefit from this because you want to facilitate your grave. However, if we remember in set 7, we got a yellow Teen Gohan leader, which is like Clash Coup, but like the opposite because it's yellow. So it's the same thing.
Right.
Auto, when you attack, you burst 2, you pitch a yellow card, you draw 2 cards. So this is another card that can help facilitate that because you're going to fill your drop area pretty quickly. However, because they're Namekians, they don't really mesh well too much with the leaders activate main on the awaken side because once per game you can go ahead and grab a Saiyan from your drop area that costs 3 or higher. So you're not going to be able to grab any of your Piccolos or anything like that. But, if you wanted to fill the drop quickly and you wanted to play like a Piccolo Gohan deck, this is probably something cute. I don't mind playing this in future Gohan because, like I said, it's just a 1-drop blocker and there aren't many 1-drop blockers that just do things, inherently. So I don't mind it. Yeah, I think he's cute. I obviously the artwork's gonna be fire because it looks fire. So
Yeah, always.
we'll see where that goes.
I think
What are
this
your?
nail.
Go ahead.
I think this nail is super interesting for 2 reasons. One, it directly supports Fused with Nail, which by itself is not a very good card.
Mm-mm.
It's a 4-drop it's a 20k with no protection, and it has 2 options. Choose one. This card gets 3k power for the duration of the turn for each Namekian card under it. Or, if there are 3 or more Namekian cards under this card gains barrier until the end of your opponent's next turn. Thank God they fixed that wording.
Mm-hmm.
Then choose up to one of your opponent's energy and switch it to rest mode. That card cannot be switched to active mode until the end of your opponent's next turn. Now, what my thought is, and this is going to sound wild, that in Ultimate Squad, shout out Ultimate Squad, we are going to get the Piccolo archetype, because God knows Piccolo is going to be a star in this movie. We are going to get a yellow Piccolo archetype.
Huh.
Which is going to be the Namekian support that everyone wants. No, it's not going to be green. Rip Planet Namek.
Yeah.
But a lot of the good Namekian cards, like Fused with Nail, like this Nail, are yellow. So I think we are going to get a yellow Piccolo archetype, and that's going to be very, very playable in this.
So does the timing add up? Like, does the timing fall in line with that? Like, set would this be set 18?
Yes.
Would be directly parallel to when the movie comes out?
That's what I'm thinking it's going to be.
That could be interesting. I mean, that could
this
be.
card's it's going to be super cheap. Everyone, if you think you want to play Namekians at some far off point in the future, when it goes down to $2 a copy, buy your copies. And we are going to get you're hearing it here first. Yellow Namekian archetype, set 18.
That's very interesting because the Elder is the super combo is also yellow.
Mm-hmm.
Assimilate is yellow.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of different yellow. You might be right. You might be onto something. Huh. Interesting. I didn't think about it that way. I thought about it as just being. I mean, set 18 is a little ways off. I mean, I find it
forever.
I find it crazy that we're getting set 16 now. There's like not a lot of information about set 17.
Yeah, we barely
But they skipped right over to 18. So I'm
like 17's gonna be like a filler set. It's gonna be
no,
garbage. I'm not excited.
I was talking to one of my friends about it the other day, right? And I was like, one of 2 things is going to happen. Since it's the last set in the Unison block, it's either going to be the most cracked Unison set ever, or we're going to get like these crazy Unisons, or it's going to be the biggest heaping pile of dog feces ever. One of the 2 is going to happen.
It's gonna be a pile of garbage. I think you're right. It's either going to be a set that's going to lead us into that block with like a bunch of ridiculously cracked cards.
Yeah.
Or what's going to probably happen, and this is what I'm thinking, is that the ban list is going to be more important than the set. Granted, we thought this ban list was going to be a huge deal. They did a great job. They balanced exactly how much they needed to.
Mhm.
Some decks fell off. Some decks are going to get better with the release of the new set.
Yeah.
But this next ban list, the ban list pre-17,
Yeah.
is going to be a major, major deal because we are getting Android support. We are getting green Android support, which means Cell Chain is going to be back. God
Yeah.
knows people are going to throw it as many decks as they can.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for
But
sure.
what that's going to mean is because they're going into a new block, they're going to have to future-proof the crap out of what we have now. So whatever these Z leaders are going to do, they are going to future-proof the living crap out of what we have right now.
That worries me a little bit because Bandai doesn't have the best track record when it comes to future proofing things. They're usually like they get to the finish line, they get to the starting line kind of late. Like they'll release something and they'll just be like, "Oh, emergency ban list or emergency errata" before the card even comes out. I mean, perfect example. Look at the promo Vegeta leader that we got for pre-release. That was like, "Oh my god, it's gonna be so good," and then boom, errata.
And it
So
was just a translation error, and that sucks. But they weren't gonna make as much as it wouldn't have been too busted. They were not gonna make that Vegeta leader that good.
bro, let the people dream, man. Let them have their dream, bro. Let them
Dude, I love Grim
dream.
Vegeta. It's just not happening.
Let them dream. So, this is a little off topic before we get to the next card. Do you think rotating, I don't want to say rotating. Oh god, I don't want to use that word rotation, but
Especially after this
like not rotation, but like rotating out of unison block. Do you think unisons go away or do you think that they're
No,
still going to be Yeah, I don't think so either. I really don't think
I
so
think
either.
specific ones will fade. I think we'll see less and less of like these techie unisons, things
Yeah.
like Shenron, the Red Sin Shenron unison, Jiren. But I think cards like Piccolo Jr., Hit, Baby Unison,
Mhm.
cards that do things outside of just creating advantage. Piccolo KOing things on the counter is freaking
Yeah.
huge. It
That card is
should not
nuts.
do what it does.
Yeah.
I play the card religiously. It shouldn't exist.
Should be once per turn, but that's a
It should
conversation
be
for a
once
different
per
day.
turn. Yeah, no. But Baby Unison being able to -5 after one turn and making your baby apes free, making your like Gohan baby's minion, like cards like Ready to Rumble. I mean, there are so many unisons, and I'm forgetting a ton. Vegeta, Unison of Fury
Yeah.
from the OG Unison block. That
Yeah.
card's still great.
Mhm.
Great against all decks. It's Yellow's answer to U7 right now.
Mhm.
You look at there are so many cards, and the unison counterplays are going to be the main reason that those stay. Also, green needs dormant to stay alive, and it's like on life support right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Lord knows they're going to play unisons. But I think that unisons will start to fade, but I know that they won't just let it. I'm sure Z leaders are going to have some sort. My assumption is that Z leaders are going to have something to do with spirit boost. That you're going to have to probably spirit boost off a whole unison or a certain amount of markers
Nah.
to
Nah.
utilize it.
Nah. No way. No way, because the new block, if you look at the history, right? If you look at their blocks, right? If you look at the overround block, after
Right.
they rotate out of a block, they completely disband that block. Like we got overround block for what sets 2, 3, and 4. We
It
got
was
no
three,
3.
four,
Well,
five.
technically, like towards end of 2 when we got the expansion.
Right, we had the expansion, so two and
So
a
it was like
half,
2, 3. It was
3,
like
4,
2. It was
5.
like yeah. We didn't get them in 5. 5 was Wish.
Oh, that's right. 5 was Wish.
Yeah, and they complete like that's exactly what I'm saying. Like if you look at when the Wish
It
block
was like
came, which
complex.
yeah, Wish block was 5, 6, 7. There was no overwhelm at all in those sets, like nothing.
Right.
So like they completely abandoned a block when they rotated out, and then the same thing for Wish when Surge came out. When Surge came out and set what 8, 9, 8 and 9, they completely rotated Wish out. Like it's just
Right.
that's what they do. So like I don't think the
That's
Z
fair.
leader or like the Z awake, whatever the hell you want to call it, I don't think it's gonna have anything to do with unisons. I think it's gonna be something completely different. I think
So dope.
I have a suspicion that the Z leaders might interact more with your life than anything else. because
Interesting.
up until this point, yes, your life, like your 8 cards that you put in life, that's how you win or lose the game. But up
Right.
until this point, your life really has been an extension of your deck. So, like when you play for perfect example, when you're playing a wish deck, right? If your Dragon Balls are in life, that's just essentially another pile that you're going to draw cards out of. You know, like because you have to go through your life to look for the balls, and then your balls are going to draw you 2 more cards. It's essentially like an extension of your deck. A lot of the times, you know, for life manipulation decks, especially, though their life pile or their life, their life area is an extension of their main deck. So like Turles, Life Flip Frieza, Life Trunks, like all these decks that have to deal with flipping life face up, it's another extension of their strategy. So I think we've kind of seen those very niche interactions with your life pile. But I think Z Awaken or Z Leaders is going to have a lot of heavy, like it's going to have some heavy, like I'm even to the point where like okay, here's your Z leader. When you meet the requirements and put your Z leader, depending on what the requirement is, like if you're at 4 or less life or 6 or less, whatever it is, I don't know. Let's say for example we get a Z leader that's a Goku, and his requirement to Z evolve or whatever it's called is you have to be at 4 or less life, and you have to have at least 3 energy. Okay, boom. I meet this requirement. Boom. So I'm gonna awaken, so I could get all the advantages out of that, and then I'm gonna Z awaken or Z lead, whatever the hell it's called, right? So now when your Z leader is played, let's say, okay, your Z leader is gonna take 2 cards from the top of your deck and you put it in your life area, but that's the life of your Z leader. So
Okay.
if those 2 life get taken, your Z leader now falls off and you go down a power level. I would be
Okay.
interested in seeing
Like
something like that.
like a power boost, but that's vulnerable. So it's sort of like a yeah, all right. I could see that. Like have it be in its own life pile,
Sure, why not?
or have it. I think that'd be interesting. Like a Z awaken. This gives your leader X effect. You
So
punch it twice.
yeah, because I'm thinking about it in the sense of like Dragon Ball is obviously it's all transformation based, right?
Right.
And then when the guy hits a certain level, he can maintain that transformation probably forever. But there have been certain instances, especially in the anime, when it's the beginning of them reaching a new level, it's very temporary. Like if you look at Goku, like when he first became Super Saiyan God against Beerus, like he had that transformation temporarily. And then he went back to Super Saiyan 2 while he was fighting Beerus. So
Right.
if these Z leaders are supposed to be like an extension of your leader, I wouldn't have an issue with them being a temporary boost that's going to help you kind of, recover or like pivot so that you don't get blown
Yeah.
out. But it's going to have a clock on it. Like look at
Oh
Gogeta, right?
yeah.
Or any type of fusion, right? It's only
That's a good
30
point.
minutes that it lasts for. It's not a permanent like, oh yeah, I'm going to fuse,
Right.
I'm going to be fused for the entire freaking match. So, I just think that would be really cool. It'd have a lot of flavor to it in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that'd be interesting. I like that idea. I'm hoping it's something like kind of interesting like that because God knows I'm not stale on it, but I think we need something to like throw some NO2 on there.
Yeah, I think I
Give me some
think
Vin Diesel
the
hitting the gas.
I think the player base is ready, especially for because they haven't really introduced a new mechanic in a while. I mean, Spirit Boost, it is what it is. So it's Spirit Boost. It didn't really resonate as well as they wanted it to. But I think the player base is ready for a more complex mechanic. Like
Yeah.
for the most part, the mechanics in this game are very very simple. Like Arrival is super simple. Overwhelm is super simple. Wish is super simple. Like most of these mechanics are super simple. I'm I think the player base. We've been playing this game for going on 5 years now. Um, I think the player base is ready for a more complex strategy. Like a lot of the times when you're playing, especially Dragon Ball, like sometimes not so much recently because the formats have been really good and the metas have been really good, but there have been formats in the past where like the best deck always wins. You know, I don't think we're in that state anymore. I think it really depends on matchup knowledge and the skill of the pilot. But I think you can even take that. I don't want to be cheesy, but to go even further beyond, I think you can make it more complex. That's going to reward the players who like really, you know, they really like they really want to play something more challenging. I think Z Awaken or Z Leaders could be that first step we take to have more complex strategies in the game.
I like it.
Uh, SS2 Kefla Supreme Warrior of Universe 6. I don't know why, but I feel like Kefla cards are always just snapped in half.
I think this card is god awful.
Is it really? Let's look at it. It's got the
It's
threat.
a 7-drop that you
Yeah.
need to cheat out via one specific card, or you can pay 7 for it. And if you're paying 7 for this card and not turning the tide in a blue deck, you're just losing the game at that point.
I mean, I don't know. So, okay, it's got deflect, it's got barrier, so it's not going anywhere. If you have 7 or more energy when this card is played, it gains triple strike for the turn. Activate main once per turn, add 1 Caulifla or Kale card from your drop area to your hand. Okay, so the activate main is doo-doo. But
At its best, it's a +1, which is meh. And most of the good ones are 110Ks anyways.
there's no like Caulifla or Kale super combos.
I know the old U6 one was a Magetta. The new one is a Kaba, so no.
There's no like red one from like back in the day, like Tournament of Power.
The TOP. Oh man.
I feel like
I
it
don't
was like
think
I
so.
feel like it was a Caulifla, wasn't it?
I think it was
Oh no, it was
Botamo.
no.
It was Botamo and Magetta.
Oh, that's
It was
right.
the
Yeah.
two of them.
All right, so maybe not the best,
Man,
but
throwback.
okay, but wait. This adds back your secret rare.
Okay, so that's fair. So it does add back both of the secret rares have. Well, it doesn't. It's Kefla, but I think the interesting thing with this is it's direct support only for the Kale deck, not really for the Kaba one. Because I know that the cards that all do this need your leader to be a Kale, and I think that deck is like. I think it needs 2 more really, 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 really strong cards. I think that Caulifla Unison is super interesting. I think it's stinky that it doesn't draw cards,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it's super interesting with that deck. End of turn ramp is something we haven't had. Like end of turn interaction. It's like, it has cards underneath stuff, like, the Patara mechanic. So I think that's really, really interesting. And I think the Kefla cards in the set were actually really, really good. Like the 2-drop that does filtering, the 4-drop's really, really good, and the 4-drop is what spawns these 7-drops.
Right.
But I feel like there are so many better options because you're probably playing the deck blue yellow already. So we have this 7-drop monster from set 7. I'm blanking on the name of the card, but it's such a good Aegis card.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have that.
Mm-hmm.
We have this now, which I guess is an offensive option, but we also have that gigantic sticky 30K that just can't be killed by anything.
Yeah, the
That
arrival
8-drop.
one. Yeah, that one's really
Yeah,
good.
it's super cool. And like, then there are better Keflas that if I wanted to like fuse and like burn resources for, there's there's the 4-drop promo that everyone was playing back when it came out.
Yeah.
There's the 2-cost fusion, or it's a one, or I think it's a blue or a yellow that has crit and dual attack, or crit or dual attack, and it's like there's just better options. I think this is a neat idea, but it needs more support to do something.
So you mentioned obviously tapping 7 for turning the tide. Turning the tide.
Didn't exist.
See, but here's the thing with turning the tide. If you play turning the tide, like if your opponent has an established board, turning the tide does nothing.
Playing turning the tide.
Yeah,
Then
he does nothing.
You should not pay 7.
Yeah, but he does nothing. At least she is a triple striker that you're paying 7 for.
Paying 7 for, I can't believe we're talking about paying 7 energy in this game right now. That's crazy. This is the
Yeah,
format.
yeah. This
But
card. Never mind.
think-
I'm trying to go to bat for this card, but this card's not good.
no, just
This
not.
card's never mind.
bad.
Let's just keep moving. Planetary manipulation, counter attack, negate the attack.
Okay.
1 green. Permanent. You can activate this card's counter skill from your hand without paying its energy cost by placing 1 card from under the nameless planet in your battle area. Okay, already I don't like this card because it has too much text. Activate main, 3 green, choose 1. Place up to 3 cards from under the nameless planet in your battle area in their owner's drops. Your opponent discards cards equal to the number of cards you placed in the drop. And then look at your opponent's hand and play 1 battle card from your opponent's in your opponent's battle area in rest mode. Okay, so this is mechanical operation with Terra Frieza, basically. Look at your opponent's hand, play 1 of their cards in rest mode. Okay. It's a you pay 3 to have your opponent discard 3. Am I reading that right? Yep.
What they did was they put the 3 cards that Champa and Beerus needed to be functional, and they put it in 1 card and they made it cost too much energy.
Yeah, this is crazy.
It should have costed 2 energy total. It should have just been a 2-drop extra card instead of having that stupid activate main with 3 green, because I think this actually costs 4.
Yeah.
So what this should have done is it should have costed 2, because the decks already are hot garbage. I'm sorry, I wanted them to be good too. But they should have costed 2 energy. It should have said, okay, this is a free counter. If you have Nameless Planet out, you pitch a card from under it, you can play it for free.
Uh-huh.
And then for 2 energy, you can either have them discard however many cards you pitch from under Planet, because I think that's a neat effect.
Yeah.
Or look at their hand and have a card out so you can put another card under Planet. I think that's neat. This is not good.
No. It's too
bad.
much. It's too much.
Why do they hate green, man? It's so sad.
It's too much. Next card. Majin Buu Tricky Nemesis. 4 cost, no specified. It's a black 15k battle card. It's a Kid Buu. Permanent. If your leader card is a green Majin Buu, this card is green while in your deck and drop area. Okay.
Not play.
Activate main for 3 energy. If your leader card is a green or black Majin card, and you have 4 or more energy, play up to 1 green or black Majin Buu card with energy cost 5 or 6 from your hand. So, this directly supports black Buu and green Buu?
It doesn't even indirectly support either one. Okay, when have you seen Black Buu pay energy for anything?
Never.
Do you remember that deck?
Never. Yeah.
Never. So you're gonna have them pay all 3 of their 4 energy on turn 4 to free play this instead of the better 4-drop, and then pay 3 energy for what? For the card to get counterplayed in window 1?
I gotta reread this. There's no way this card is that bad.
It had the potential, but it needed to have some sort of protection, but it's just not very good.
So you have to pay 4 to play him, and then activate main for 3.
For free in the chain. In the black chain, he comes out for free.
Okay.
Remember, the 2-drop goes into the 4.
Yes. Okay, got it.
Or it goes into a 3 that goes into a 4, but it's all free regardless. The whole chain is awesome. I think that deck is super cool. But you're playing it for free, and then on turn 4, which means so you've probably started another chain by now, so you've paid 2 energy. You've probably either left the card there, or you've paid 2 that turn. So now you need 5 energy to do this operationally.
Can you
play the 4-drop? Then you pay 3 energy and say, okay, I'm going to declare to play in window 1 a 5 or 6 cost that I don't think has deflect.
Yeah.
So blue players just win the game at that point because you just paid 5 total energy for nothing.
That's rough. So there's no way of cheating this out with like the balls and like the Xeno, the Xeno Boos. There's no way to Xeno Boo this guy up. Because don't you need
you're forcing it.
Because he's not Xeno either, so you can't even cheat him out.
You can't cheat it with like that card.
Oh, God. If this guy would have been Xeno, it would have been better. Because you can cheat him out.
Yeah, it would be honestly somewhat good. And if it's play a Xeno, But even still, you're asking too much. All right, you want to talk about the good card now?
Yeah, I don't know why he's pointing at me. This card sucks. All right, fine. Let's do it. Ugh. Android 17, MVP.
Oh.
0 cost 5k, combo, 10k attacker, 2 drop, 2 red. Activate main, sparking 5 for 1 red. if your leader card is a red U7 card and you send this card from your drop area to your warp, your leader card gains Invoker until the end of your next turn. See, I have a huge problem with this card. I don't like Invoker. Like, I don't like it. I don't like it, right? So now you're giving any red U7 leader the ability to do this. So Gohan, the new Goku, which doesn't need any help. Yeah, doesn't need any help. The actual Invoker leader, he doesn't have Invoker on the leader, right? Nope. And then that really bad red U7 Vegeta that we got in Tournament of Power. The new Vegeta that you're playing is Universe 7.
Yeah.
So what are we doing?
So I have a theory here, because remember who broke the game with that wild King Vegeta aggro deck? It was either Legends or Sublet. It was one of the two Invoker players that built that deck.
I have no idea.
That crazy King Vegeta aggro deck that got Belmod and all the free play banned.
Yeah, probably Sublet. That sounds like a Sublet.
I think it was probably Sublet.
It sounds like a Sublet.
So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But so let's say it was Sublet. So Sublet was one of the two Invoker players. They murdered Cat Blow. It's not like unplayable, but they murdered Cat Blow. They needed to. Granted, in this format, Invoker untouched would be ridiculous. Yeah. But now it's ridiculous again, because now you're saying, okay, on turn 2, I'm going to discard this card. I'm going to combo it off, whatever, in a deck that draws a lot of cards. Yeah. And I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to pay that red energy, and I'm going to leave that red blue open. Okay, now I have Emperor's Death Beam and Royal Condemnation, and this, and this, and this. I have all my tools online for 3 turns. You have the turn that you did it, the rest of their turn, and the rest of that next turn. It's until the end of your next turn, right?
Well, no, didn't they address the wording?
They fixed it. It's back to the way it reads. It reads in English.
So until your following turn.
The end of your next turn.
So your current turn. Yeah, so your current turn, your opponent's turn, and then your next turn, but till the end of it.
Yep.
Oof. That's rough.
Invoker. I'm sorry. I should rephrase. Sublet and Legends will now top events with Invoker again. Because
you don't need to play the Vegeta anymore.
Well, you still probably should play it like a 1 or 2 of, because it's still a good card, and it's a way that if you don't see this. But here's my thing. These people that are like buying out Invoker cards and I'm going to jump into this deck and I'm going to be great at it, you need to practice.
Oh, hell yeah.
I tried to play Invoker for like a week, and at the end of the week, I almost stopped playing the card game, because you need to be perfect. The deck is not forgiving, and this is why I'm like not worried about Invoker. I'm worried about Sublet and Legends, and I'm not going to see them at any events I go to.
Yeah.
So here's my thing. So you're taking, you have to be perfect in your sequencing, because if you're not, you're going to lose.
You can't lose to Invoker if you never play them.
Exactly, and that's where it's leading up to. You need to be perfect. You need to know your matchup. You need to time your plays right, and you need to rip the right cards from their hand with your thought seizes. And you need to be able to finish the game on time. Yeah. So I think Invoker is great now. I think this is a phenomenal piece of support, and I think it makes the deck a little more forgiving.
Yeah.
But it is not by any means broken, because we don't have enough smart people in this community.
I just don't like the fact that he could give the new Goku leader Invoker, because that guy,
no one will play it with blue.
No, I mean that guy is bursts 3 every turn. He's gonna hit this guy to the drop as soon as he wants.
I think it's a neat idea, and I think you'd have to build the deck around that idea. You need to build it with the Invoker pieces and the OP Arena, and you need to build it with those pieces and form the deck as that idea. You can't really split your hedges. You can't really hedge your bets on either side of the archetype. You would need to play Invoker in that leader, or you can play the red Goku archetype, which I think is just better right now. But I think this is it's like a neat idea, and I'll probably experiment with it at some point if the promo ever goes under $7, which God knows it'll be $50 for as long as it exists.
It's an
Um,
Android 17 card, so it's gonna be
it's
expensive.
it's a 17 card. It's an MVP 17 card,
Yeah,
and it's Invoker support, and it's a champ pack card.
yeah,
Forget it.
yeah. All right. Well, we went over all these cards. I honestly think it's the Invoker card, and then the pickle, the nail, and then the rest can just go. Like the rest are just coasters. They're just not good.
They're neat looking coasters. The art on all of these cards is phenomenal. I would definitely was that. The art is awesome. Even like the Kefla that I don't really like all that much is awesome. I mean, this
It,
is
I
great
think the
art.
Kefla has the best art.
I really like the
I
Champa
think Beerus
Beerus. I
Champa.
really like the Champa Beerus.
Champa Beerus has the best art.
I love it. I love how goofy it is.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
they really just don't do Champa any favors on any of these angles.
yeah. That's the best art. All right.
They got all 5 of his bad sides.
Last topic of conversation. A couple weeks ago, or maybe it was last week, there's a picture I came across in the community. Dragon Ball Super TCG theme selection set: History of Vegeta, History of Son Goku. We've got a little bit of information about these. I think they're all reprints. They're like a reprint collector set with some alternative arts. But the thing I like about this, and I think we touched on it, if you're gonna do reprints, do them like this. Do them like this.
Yup.
Because now you could go to the store, you probably get 2 of these, and you've got everything that you need. You don't have to go and buy boxes and boxes of Mythic Booster, hopefully you pull a Senzu Bean. This is how you do it. These are probably going to run anywhere between
$25.
15, 16 bucks, maybe 20 bucks.
I think it'll probably be 25 if they're good cards, and they probably will be.
Okay, fine. Even 20, even 25. That means
It's a good price.
yeah.
I'd buy 2 each for 25.
But yeah, and then you get everything that you need. And there's a card game. There's a very obscure card game that I play on the side for fun. Me and my buddy, shout out to Enrique, we play it for fun. It's very kitchen table. It's called Versus System. Versus System 2 PCG, so 2-player card game. And the main IP behind it is Marvel Comics. So you have Marvel Comics, you have Predator, you have Aliens, you have a couple of other IPs sprinkled in. But the main draw is Marvel Comics. So that's your IP that they're using. And the way their card game is broken down, it's a living card game. So every time a set comes out, when you purchase that set, you have every single card in the box. Like it's not a trading card game, so you don't have to buy packs. You don't have to pull a specific rarity. They're all non-foil, just regular cardboard stock. It's a 55 card cigarette box, and it comes with all the cards that you need for that expansion. You buy one, and you have everything that you need. And they usually release a set every month, and they're like $15 for the expansions. Once a year, they'll release a 200 card set, and so on and so forth. So I really like that structure because it eliminates the, oh my god, I have to go get this card and get this card and get this card. You purchase it, you get it, you have everything you need, boom, good to go. Obviously, that game isn't very heavily, known. It's more of like a game for fun, but I like the structure in which they release their products. This is giving me those types of vibes where they're going to probably have maybe 1 or 2 new cards and then just really good reprints. Or maybe like a handful of new cards and then just really good reprints. Huh?
There's a description on here, isn't there?
Not on this picture that I have, but if you have a description,
let me find it.
Yeah. So I saw some people commenting about this. It's really good for new players. This is really good for new players to just come into the game, and get their hands on some stuff. Especially if it's like reprints or like older good cards. I like Bandai doing stuff like this. I really like this type of release. Like we talked about it before, with the expansions, the Namekian boost and the Saiyan boost. I like those types of products because it's very minimal investment. You buy 2 of them for like $30 and you're good to go. You've got everything that you need. So I don't mind stuff like that, especially if it's going to help support, current archetypes or existing archetypes, give them, slight
Yeah.
boosts to make them more playable. But did you find a description for it?
Yeah. It was on Dark Vassal Gaming. I know they're a shop that ships in the US. Releases 7/8/2022. 7 would be July 8th, 2022. A set of 15 reprint cards, including 5 plus SRs that are highly popular among users. All 15 cards come with new illustrations recreating some of the most popular scenes. So I'm sure we'll get a bunch of like Goku versus Vegeta stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Offering more well-designed cards for the increased number of collectors in the UW series. Users who missed out on the UW series will find this product easier to build their decks with. A sheet with deck recipes is also included to help returning players. I think that's super neat. A rare DBSCG package about 6 inches long by 8 inches wide, with a window that allows you to see the 3 cards that are the centerpiece. It's marked at $40 down from $50. I don't know if that's their price or
Mm-hmm.
if that's retail.
So
But that tells
that's like Mad
it's
Collection kind of.
sort of. It's all reprints though. So 15 reprints with 5 plus SRs. It'll probably end up like 7 or probably 5 to 7. But a lot of good cards are rares and commons anyways.
Right.
What this tells me is that this is them listening.
Yes.
This is them saying this is a reprint set.
Yeah.
It's going to be themed around Goku and Vegeta. It probably will all be Goku and Vegeta cards. But what I think, like cards that'll probably be in here, I mean, cards like, probably Strength of Legends Goku. God knows they love reprinting that damn card.
Yeah. Probably.
Granted, it's playable now.
Yeah.
It's playable with the new ruling, so I can't be mad. I think cards like Concentrated Destruction, even though we just got that in Mythic Booster, I think that's a card they love.
Yeah.
I think like Broly era cards, like
Okay.
stuff like maybe like a Gogeta themed, like I'm sure there'll be like a window kind of card where like they'll kind of come together. You'll have half Gogeta on this side and half Gogeta on this side.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I think something like that. I think it's hard to predict because Vegeta and Goku cards are so all over the place, and of course
Yeah,
I can't think of
they
anything
are.
off the top of my head.
Yeah, they are.
But there could be anything in here. Um, but I think it's a solid product idea that I think will totally do exactly what they want it to.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's great. But there is one more reprints thing that came out the other day. These new top cards for the fest events and the new organized play set.
I
Did you
did
see
not
these?
see those.
So there were
Hold
3
up.
cards for their starting for fest.
Mm-hmm.
And it had the organized play roadmap.
Okay.
So there's a top 32 card, a top 16 card, and a top 4 card.
Okay.
So you only get one,
Okay.
and you only get them if you get that high. The top 32 is a Vegeta Godly Aura, which I think is the prettiest Vegeta card they've ever printed.
Vegeta Golly. That's the red one, right?
The
I
red
think
Gogeta
I
card.
saw this. I think I saw this today on the
It's
page. I was just like scrolling and I saw
super
it.
cool. The art is great. I think that's a solid choice. I think it gives those Gogeta players, there'll be 32 of them per event. It's gonna be hard to get them, but it's not a super high value card, so that's okay. The top 16 is the Great Priest, Herald of Destruction.
I did see this. Yep. Okay, I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm just trying to find
Again,
it here.
you're good. Great art. It's unique before unique. Only one copy can be in play.
Yeah, yeah.
4 more energy. Choose a god. He's got the crit. Super cool. 20k, and then reprint that means they're not gonna hit it. The 9-drop Sin.
Ah, yes, that's right. Yep.
I think I have a request for what they should hit when they eventually do hit Sin. Lord knows it's the best deck in the format right now. They'll probably hit it at the next ban list. I think I know what's going to be hit, but I'm not going to get into that right now. I think cards like this are freaking awesome because there's such a limited amount of them. It helps collectors because collectors will pay a dang fortune for them.
Sure.
But it helps players because the normal versions of these cards are not expensive right now. And if you have like a buddy who's getting into the game and he wants to build a Gogeta deck, and you just went top 32 in an event, you're like, dude, this card goes in your Gogeta deck. Look at how pretty this is. Or this card goes in your Grand Priest deck that isn't playable. Like, check this out. Like, or this Sin Shenron is a part of the best deck in the format. Like I can't imagine this isn't a good idea. I think it's great. I don't totally agree with all of the choices, but I think 9-drop Sin probably needed the reprint.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, because he was only what?
Art-wise.
He was
He was
what?
a common or rare.
A common or a rare, yeah, in set 10, I
Yeah, and
remember.
he had good art, but it wasn't anything like this.
Yeah. Yeah, so stuff like stuff like this, like if you're not gonna do cash prizing, and that's a topic of conversation. We could do an entire podcast on just that.
Oh
If you're not gonna do cash prizing, this is the type of prizing that is probably acceptable in its replacement. You know, hard alternative art of already good / hard to acquire cards. When Godly Aura first came out,
it was like
that was
$50.
hard to get that card.
It was a hard card to find because it was so rare.
when you got your play set for your Gogeta deck, and it was like the biggest deal in the world. Like, holy shit, he actually got 3 Godly Auras or 4 Godly Auras,
Dude,
and I was like, oh my god.
it was impossible to find those cards.
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, we
I
had
scrambled on the group for those for weeks.
yeah, we had that bubble there where it was really tough to get TPs, especially with like the 1-drop Broly's and stuff like that too. So,
Yup.
I mean, we're no longer there,
that was
but
that set 11.
yeah, it was that set. We're no longer there. TPs now are just nowhere near as powerful as they were.
He's good.
Yeah, it is good. So to piggyback on that, this is what they should do with tournament pack promos.
Agreed.
This is exactly what they should do with tournament pack promos. Maybe if you want to make the separation, like if you want to use the more, like the more expensive, yeah, if you want to use the more expensive foiling for the event pricing, fine. But then just make like regular foil versions of reprinted cards, alternate art for TPs. Like they don't have to be gold stamp foils; they could just be regular foils. That's what they should do, because if you promo lock archetypes, it's just never a good feeling. And then we had that big issue with set 11 where a lot of decks were promo locked, and it was just like
almost every archetype in that set was.
Yeah,
besides Dark Broly.
yeah,
And then granted, its promos were cheaper.
Yeah.
But you look at Broly and Gogeta, Red was entirely promo locked.
It
That's
was.
like King Vegeta.
Mhm.
You remember when those promos came out for King Vegeta?
Yep.
The Raditz, the Goku, there was a Raditz, a Vegeta, and I think a Goku, right?
Yeah, the Raditz you 100% needed the Raditz for the deck to function.
You needed at least a 3.
Yep.
The Vegeta the Raditz, the Vegeta. The Goku was garbage, but I played it. But the Raditz and the Vegeta, you needed at least 3 of the Raditz and 4 of the Vegeta.
Yeah,
and they
100%.
were like $50 a pop. I think they were like 70 on release. And
yeah.
But lowering the power level is a good start, but I totally agree with you. I think making them reprints, whether it be of cards in the set, and if you're worried about the power level and that's what you wanted to focus on, then make those the SRs. Because some SRs that we've gotten recently, I think that Whis, that 2-drop, I think it's a counter play or a counter attack for the Great Priest deck, got an SR and an SPR.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the card's SR power level. Truly, I think it's a good card.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's an SR power level card.
I think they probably want to give every archetype an SR though,
which is more than fair. But if you're going to give archetypes promos like they have been doing, then let's make those promos the power SRs.
Sure, that's fair.
And let's make these more and then you get into okay, well, what about cards like Steadfast Assistance? Okay, Steadfast Assistance very well could have stayed in SR, or make it a rare. Because if you know this card's going to have an insane power level, the foil of that rare is going to be crazy expensive.
Sure.
And now more people are going to pull it. More people are going to have access to it. You're not going to have many people barking up your tree to reprint it.
Yeah.
Or to ban it.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I think All Too Easy is also a perfect example.
Yep.
Yeah.
But All Too Easy is also getting a reprint in the Fest pack, which I think is really great.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, listen. Again, I'm not here to crucify Bandai. I'm also not here to pat them on the back. I'm very 50-50 with Bandai right now, but a majority of what they've done recently has been a step in the right direction. So I can't really get on them too much. I think my biggest issue with Bandai right now is the fact that set 16 isn't even officially street legal yet, and we're already talking about set 18. Like,
Yeah.
not even 17. They're just like, oh, no, we don't give a shit about 17. We're just going to talk about 18. Like, I understand. Like, again, in the same breath that I say one thing, I'll say the other. I understand trying to catch lightning in a bottle and make sure that the hype is there, but you don't want to blow your wad too early. Like I think it's what happened with set 16. We had all of our releases and reveals like a month before the set came out. Granted, it's distribution and delays, I understand. But now you're talking about a set. Everybody's hyped for set 18, or you're starting the hype train for set 18, which is 2 sets down the road, not the next set. So, like, what are we doing? Instead of hyping up sets and trying to build hype around set releases, why don't you just try to build hype around the game? Like, just, you know what? I don't need to know what's coming out in set 18. I don't need to right now. It's not coming out until September. I don't need to know what's coming out. It's freaking March. I don't need to know what's coming down in September. Why don't you, instead of spending all those millions of dollars on marketing for that 30-second teaser that you had at Battle Hour, take all that money that you used for that 30-second little trailer and go dump it into like an online marketing campaign. Flood Facebook with ads. Flood YouTube with ads. Flood TikTok. TikTok is the most consumed social media platform in the world right now. If Bandai made a freaking TikTok and they were just posting 6-second clips of gameplay, they'd have like 100,000 followers by the end of the week.
Yep.
Because the people are just gonna scroll through it, not really know what it is. Like, oh, that's Dragon Ball, that's cool. I'm gonna like it. Boom, just keep going, keep it moving. But it's traction. You know, it's the same thing I'm dealing with at work right now. My company that I work for, and I won't get into too much details because we're going long here, but they focus their efforts when it comes to marketing in certain areas instead of trying to really hit what's going to make them boom. And I think Bandai's in the same boat. They play it safe. Bandai does an excellent job of building hype with the existing community. The 20,000 people that we have in our community, Bandai does a phenomenal job of piquing our interest and building hype within that community. But they stop right there. They don't expand. They don't go anywhere else. They're like, you know what? We have 20,000 people on this Facebook page. We're happy with that. If you get happy, if you get comfortable, if you get complacent, that's when you start to fail. You always have to want more, bro. Like, you gotta want more. You gotta want it. And I don't want to sound like a dad, but you gotta want it. You gotta want to. You have to want. Like, you can't get comfortable. I think a lot of the times, like if you're like professional athletes or people who are really successful in their careers or people who are, business owners or entrepreneurs, I think they do their best work when they're backed into a corner and they're under pressure and they have to perform. Like, I'm a huge Yankee fan, and I'm not the biggest Derek Jeter fan, but when that guy had to perform, he did it. He performed. Mariano Rivera is the greatest closer of all time. Nobody will ever touch him. Unanimous first ballot Hall of Famer. Like, that's a huge deal. Why? Because when he had to perform, he did. And he did it on the greatest level that he could possibly do it. So, like, Bandai needs the Michael Jordan mentality. Bandai needs that I want to be better than everybody else, and I don't care what I have to do to get there.
Yeah, I think like just like a last little note on that one. I think is get back to like revealing the secret. I know it got spoiled by the street date last time because that one I think it was someone in I think OCE leaked the secret rare like the day before they were going to reveal it.
Yeah, it was like
But
Australia or New Zealand or
yeah,
something.
I think it was Australia or one of those like a content creator group or whatever. But get back to like puzzling out the secret rares. That was so much fun.
Yeah,
Like,
that was
oh,
great.
it's gonna be this. Like, I remember the PyCon one. Nobody thought it was gonna be PyCon. Not
No,
a single person.
nope,
I don't care who you are. You're lying if you thought it was PyCon.
nope.
I people thought it was Gohan, it was Gogeta, it was Piccolo, it was this, it was that, it was anything. And then it was PyCon. Everyone was like, "What?" And then the card was like, "Okay," and it's like, "Well,"
Yeah.
but I it's that's a bad example. But like the Supreme Kai of Time secret rare, like if they puzzled that out, or like Baby Hatch, like with so many options for secret rares, like and push those. Like I remember seeing like 1 or 2 ads for it. Like, oh, what do you think this secret rare is gonna be? And it was like the video was like a splash page. It was like the puzzle pieces flying into place, and a big white flashlight, Dragon Ball Super card game. Check back on the page at this date.
Yeah.
Like, cool. Like
Dude,
that's awesome.
I
Get
re-
back to that.
I remember in set 7, Salt of the Sands was set 7, right?
Yeah, 7.
So set 6 was Destroyer Kings.
Yes.
Okay, so I remember set 6. Set 6, you had the Arcane Absorption SCR, and you had the SS4 Bro, the not the SS4 Broly, but like the Agent of
Broly.
Destruction agent.
Yeah.
Those SCRs were revealed puzzle piece style, and each SCR had like a week's worth of build up. Like it was like on a Monday, they posted like the bottom half, and it was like every day they posted something, and then boom, Friday, boom. Oh, tune in next time for our next secret. And that took up 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
That took up 2 whole weeks just for 2 cards. And then like a week later the set came out. So I think it's all a timing thing. I understand that they want to get it out there because they want to get people excited, because they want people to buy their product. Here's one. I'll give you the cheat code, Bandai. I'll tell you right now, as a consumer, as a player, as a fan, as a content creator, we're gonna buy products. You have to buy product in order to play this game. It's not like you can play an all set 1 deck now and be successful with it. Because Bandai has kind of mastered the power creep. Every time a set comes out, there's always a new hotness that needs to be played, right? So all of your players in the community are going to buy product no matter what, whether it's singles or sealed products. It's gonna get bought. It's gonna get bought. You don't need to say, "Hey, here's a reminder that you need to go and buy this." No, we know. We all know. There are hundreds of content creators that will reiterate 1,000 times, "Don't forget to pick up your product here. Don't forget to order online here. Don't forget to use my TCG player affiliate link here to save money on your order." That's our job. We do it for you, right? So you don't need to worry about hyping up set releases because it's gonna get bought. So take a step back and say, "Listen, we have a loyal fan base. We've established a good amount of growth. Let's focus on really blowing it out over the top now." And I'm telling you, man, like if they start doing those puzzle piece things, if they take 2 weeks, well, now it would be 3 weeks. Now it would be 3 weeks because they have 3 secret rares in every set. And there's a god rare. So just those 4 cards will cover an entire month of reveals.
Yep.
And then you could start doing the sets like they used to do. They used to reveal commons and uncommons and rares. Boom. And come back next week for the SRs. All the SRs. Oh, come back next week for the SPRs. All the SPRs. On to the next color.
I will say I like the color. I like it color by color. I think that's good because you see the 2 archetypes next to each other.
Yeah,
But
that's
I
fine.
agree. Like the way to do it is to spread it. And I think what our reveals were done mid to end February,
Yeah.
right? We were supposed to get the set at the end of February.
Yeah.
So it lined up. It sucks the delay killed this one. But I think that people have gotten better with not leaking stuff.
Yeah.
So I think if they go back to a puzzle piece style with the secret rares, and then you do maybe a content creator does an archetype, because like content creators love to we like to hook onto archetypes.
Mhm.
Like I know personally, like for me, I didn't get interested in any specific archetypes, but I was super interested in what like Great Priest was gonna do.
Mhm.
Okay, here, take the Great Priestess SPRs. You guys reveal these.
Sure.
Do something like that. It gets the content creator attention. It gets the game attention, and they get to reveal the SPRs for the archetype they're excited about.
Yeah. Bro,
So I
they
think like
did
something like
that.
that would be
They
cool.
did that up until recently. Like I remember, I forget what set, but I remember. I think it was Crossworld TCG. Shout out to Joey. He revealed a specific archetype. He revealed the entire archetype, and it was the first time we saw it. And then shout out to Chris and UniX DBS. He did another archetype. Like they did that up until recently.
Yeah, like
So
I
I don't
think
know.
that's
Like I
super
don't know
cool
why they
idea.
stopped. I mean, when I did the trivia game show with
That
Aspira
was awesome.
and Android and all the and Crossworlds and UniX, like when that was fun. That was fun. That was
Yeah.
awesome. Like I'm not saying it has to be me, but like you should do more stuff like that for sure. And you know what? You know what's crazy to me? I feel like maybe I might get a lot of heat for this in the comments, and I promise we'll wrap up right after this. I might get a lot of heat for this in the comments. Super Players 100% is the biggest Dragon Ball Super card game YouTube channel. Like it's the biggest one. Nobody is denying that, right? I feel like Bandai needs to utilize them more for like releases and previews and hype because however you feel about those guys, it's irrelevant. They are really good, huh?
They have the eyes.
Right. They are really good at, promoting the game, showing stuff. Christian and Tony, they do a lot of editing and they're the ones that basically started it all. Utilize them more. Like have them do reveals, have them do, this type of stuff that we were just talking about before. Like have them do it. That's the biggest channel that you have for this game. Granted, you could make the argument that 75 to 80% of their viewers are more casual, but isn't that what you want? Don't you want to increase the casual player base? Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, whatever. But listen,
I think that's the way to start it.
that's the way. That's what it comes down to. So, before we get on out of here, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date with everything. No counters, no combos. Feel free to drop any comments down below in regards to question of the day, what you guys feel about what we talked about. If anybody ever wants to come on the podcast or one of these videos, just let us know. Message me either on Facebook or in Discord or comment down below. Like, I don't mind having other people come on and join in the conversation. So if you guys are looking for just hanging out and talking about Dragon Ball for an hour, just let us know. It's not that serious. With that being said, we're gonna get on out of here. Thank you guys so much for the support. We really do appreciate it here at No Counters, No Combos, and I'm sure Matt appreciates it at Sensu Bros as well. We'll see you guys on Wednesday. Be there or be squared.